Cheers.
Cheers.
Bravo, well done.
Great team.
Great team.
Great team.
All finished now. It's a wrap.
All in the can. Could not have done that alone.
No, it's all about the team, isn't it?
Totally
And
is.
it's all about the different qualities, I guess, as individuals that we bring to the whole picture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's have a look at what those qualities are.
Presenting string credible top trumps. We're thinking about being introverts or extroverts and about planning, spontaneity and fun. Everyone has what it takes to embrace pitch, pace, perform. Look how different we all are. Let's compare Kath and Helen. Ooh, the introvert score is very similar, with Kath on 3 and Helen on 2. Same with the extrovert score, Kath on a 7, Helen slightly more extroverted on an 8. Very different scores on planning. Kath is high up with a 9, Helen is right down with a 2, interesting. Ooh, and look at spontaneous though. Very, very similar again, with Kath on an 8 and Helen on a 9, but fun, both 10 out of 10. So these are their scores now, but do they come naturally or have they had to work at it? Let's hear what they have to say.
So Kath, in our incredible performances, the rest of us hugely admire your ability to talk to massive rooms of people and really hold their attention with your charisma and just sharing the joy of what you love, in our case, about music. Is that as easy as it looks for you? Is that a natural skill?
That's a good question. Actually, it isn't something that I've always had. When I was a teenager, I was incredibly shy and I had to learn to talk to people. I had to learn to communicate. And I think from having learnt that, I feel like now I understand the building blocks of what you need in order to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So then that allows me the confidence to try it in different contexts, but also the confidence to know that I've got different tools that I can draw on if I get stuck in a situation and I feel uncomfortable, then I might turn the corner and go in a different direction, because I know I've got that learning and thought and practice really behind me. So what about you? What we really value about you is your spontaneity and your creativity. Is that something that a quality you've always had?
I think it's like you need those building blocks behind you of a different skill set to be able to do that. I do like not having to prepare too much, because in the moment I feel I'm more natural if I haven't planned, for example, word for word what I'm going to say, and the same with playing. But you've done all that practice before over years and years and years, building up to this moment, so you've got enough things to draw on that you can do it. I think when I was younger I thought, oh well, it'll be fine on the day, but I hadn't done enough practice up to that occasion, so learned pretty quickly that wasn't the way through. To wing it.
Planning in order that you can be spontaneous.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sounds crazy.
Bravo.
So back to top trumps, let's compare Amy and Bryony. As an introvert, Amy scores 2 and Bryony scores 8. An extrovert, Amy 8 and Bryony 2, so they're the opposite of each other. For planning it, Amy scores a 2 and Bryony scores a 9. And being spontaneous, Amy scores a 10 and Bryony scores a 4. But for fun, look, just like the other two, they both score 10. Now let's see what they have to say about it.
That was so fun. I love working with you, Amy, because you're such a vibrant and natural communicator. It seems so easy for you, is it?
Well, not always, hasn't always been
Really?
easy. No, I mean, I was an incredibly shy child.
Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to anybody, especially not boys, because that's really embarrassing. And I just had to sort of, over the years, I looked at other people that I admired, friends and people, celebrities, and thought, what is it? What do they do? And I always noticed that people were very smiley and sort of open. So I used to try and practice that.
So it's almost like you faked it until you've become it, because now it feels to me like it's a very intrinsic part of your personality.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. But then when I need a boost, if I'm going on stage and I'm feeling a bit, I don't want to, I'll sort of draw on those experiences and think, right, come on, and the sort of bigger, better Amy will go on stage rather than the shy one.
So is that what you might say then to your teenage self if you could go back and allay some of those fears?
Yes, I think everybody needs to have a bit more confidence in themselves, don't they? Everybody's always got this fear of being judged, and actually people don't tend to judge because people are too busy thinking about themselves. So I'd say, to a teenage performer, just go on stage. If you've got that confidence, just be yourself, and people want you to do well, and And if you need to use that persona trick, then yeah, absolutely.
Holding those two things in balance.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
nice.
But Bryony, I would say you seem like a very confident person, but you always say not.
No, I'm such an introvert, and being in front of a group of people has never been my comfort zone. And the way I used to deal with that is by planning everything down to the wire and knowing exactly how everything would go. And then I learned from working with colleagues who I really respect, who are able to be a bit more spontaneous and creative, that having the freedom to do something in the moment and hold your planning loosely leads to a much better and more dynamic dialogue with your audience, and much more of a real connection. So I think it's really interesting, isn't it, how we can take our natural selves but also go on a journey with them and learn from each other.
Yeah.
Being part of a team is such a wonderful thing, because you're able to realise that we have introversion and extroversion, and planners and people who are able to be spontaneous, and they all complement each other, and together we're better.
Definitely.